Go ahead, fire away. We don't do opening statements in the ACC.
Is this your wet work for the fall?
When you start practice, you always want to get, you look before the first game and you want to get 2 or 3 days of wet ball work. And so when it first started raining, I was thinking about coming inside, and I'm like, you know what, we're already out here, it's already wet. And, I think it's good to get work like that, because chances are we're going to play in a game or two like this. So I apologize to the media that we didn't go inside, but that was our thought process of, we were already halfway through it. Let's just finish the practice and get some wet ball work.
I know you've got your eye on a lot of things, but how good is it to see Donovan Green out here and moving well then?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see him out here and moving well, and now the goal is to keep him out here moving well. Even today, when he's out there, he looks different. I mean, he's a high-end player, and clearly we're going to be a better team if we can keep him healthy. And he looked good today. He had a smile on his face, and I'm just happy for him. He's been through a lot, so hopefully he can stay healthy and have a great. This is technically, he's like a 7th or 8th year junior, so my goal is for him to have a great year and then finally get out of here.
So you had a familiar voice today in Kevin Higgins coaching the wide receivers. What does it mean to you and to him to kind of have him back out here?
Well, he's actually working with the tight ends. So because of the rule change that, all the analysts now are allowed to work, what Kevin's going to do is, we're doing that 2 spot. So he's kind of like the head coach of the field that I'm not at. He's going to work with our tight ends. He's going to be involved in all the special teams. And, it's great. I mean, I looked out there at our safeties, and it's like, we've got like 3 safety coaches now. And I said, if these guys ever have an MA, we're overpaying somebody.
Were you happy with what you saw today, execution-wise?
Yeah.
Dealing with the weather and whatnot. And all that
To me, like when you have the first practice in helmets and spiders, the 2 things that you look for is you want people to stay off the ground. And I thought we had minimal guys on the ground today. And then you just don't want it to be sloppy, and then you throw the weather in there, and they have every excuse for it to get sloppy, and it didn't get sloppy. I thought our ball security was decent. We played pitch and catch, given the wet balls. And, there's not too many years that practice 1 doesn't go well. Now, if this is practice 13 and it starts raining like that, that's a sign of a good team, that they'll have a good practice when they're tired when this happens. But today, having a good practice day 1 would be a minimum standard.
Les probably could have done a better job of paying attention to the release from Will, because I showed up at 7:30 and nobody was on the field. Practice got moved from 7:45 to 8. Was there a reason for that change?
Yeah. So we had a policy here that we called the Zach Tom policy. So when Zach played here, we would put in our schedule how long we thought practice would be. And Zach would walk off of practice and say, "Coach, you owe me 3 minutes." So I just started putting every practice in there as a 2.5-hour practice. And we never practiced 2.5 hours. So then his senior year, I could walk off the field every day and say, "Zach, are you going to say thank you? You owe me time now?" And so I was going through the schedule the other day, and I'm like, you know what? Zach's been gone for 3 years now. We can put what the actual practice times are. So what we did is, the first few practices are not very long. And so we went with an 8 o'clock start instead of a 7:45 start. So I'm hoping this gets enough publicity that Zach will appreciate the impact he had in our program, other than being a great left tackle.
Well, he's big time.
He is really good, and again, it was great having him back when we had Pro Day. I think I shared with some of you at the end of our Pro Day this year, Zach, Sam Hartman, and Michael Juergens all came over to my house afterwards and watched sports, and I started a little outdoor fire and just the conversations. I mean, I was laughing so hard, and we're really proud of all 3 of those guys. But Zach had a great year, to the surprise of nobody, and told everybody his senior year, whoever takes him, he's a guy that if he stays healthy has a chance to have one of those 8, 10, 12, 14-year careers because of how talented he is, how athletic he is, and especially how smart he is.
Is there anything to be gained from the quarterbacks, looking at the quarterbacks today? Any insider knowledge too soon?
We're going to play the long game with this one, Tony. I think 2021 might have been the only year here that we didn't have to start different quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And we have 2 guys in their 6th year, and then we have a bunch of guys in their 1st and 2nd year. And I hope that we can keep those guys healthy, but certainly odds are that we're going to need both of them. And so for us at any point to make a premature decision or just anoint somebody, I don't think that's good for them. I don't think it's good for the team. We play a game at the end of the next month. Mm-hmm. And at some point we're going to have to make a hard decision on who the starter is and who the backup is. But there's no point in making that decision until we have to, and we don't have to make it until the start of the first game.
You guys good?
All right, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.